Okay, hey everyone, this is GeoWill from Left Hand Productions Squared, and we are going to start our Chrono Cross walkthrough today. So I had recorded some of this previously, but somehow the save file got lost somewhere, so we're just going to restart it. Plus I think, I'm not sure if actually I've ever started it on this system yet. Before. This is interesting. I'd forgotten about this. These extra cutscenes you can see. So, Chrono Cross is it's a pretty interesting and unique game, and in a world of interesting and unique games and JRPGs. Not only is it the direct sequel to Chrono Cross, it's also got, I think, the largest number of playable characters in any game. I don't think you can get them all, but there are 44 different playable characters that you can obtain different amounts of. I'm not sure. I think some that you choose will preclude you from picking others, but you can get a huge amount of characters. And there's also interesting stuff like, for example, the first character you see at the very beginning of the game that's with you and Kid changes. It's not always the same. There's like all kinds of that kind of stuff throughout the game, where each playthrough can be slightly different because of some RNG stuff in there. Now that we've gone through Chrono Trigger and we got Crimson Echoes up on the channel, I figured it's about time to do this too now. And if you watch the trailer for this, there's one spot where it's kind of cutting between different scenes, and there's like this area where there's almost like a pictograph kind of thing on a wall that looks like the Frozen Flame kind of. Well, it's supposed to be the Frozen Flame. Every time I see that now after playing Crimson Echoes, I get friggin' goosebumps because it's just like, holy crap. Because it just connects things together so much better, and you realize what that is and what it would mean for the protagonists or antagonists to get a hold of it if you played through Crimson Echoes. Because Chrono Cross doesn't do a very good job of explaining what exactly the Crimson Flame is specifically. I think it has broad assertions that if you played Chrono Trigger a bunch and know the story really well, and have played this a bunch and done some researching online about the connections between the two, you can kind of work out, but Crimson Echoes kind of yells that part to you, so it makes it a little bit more of an enjoyable story. So, I have never actually beaten this game before. This will be the first time I've ever beaten it, if I do beat it. I always get stuck kind of near the end. Let's go and get rid of that. I have a guide with me, 700 something pages. I printed out, and I actually printed it out back in 2005, because I've been planning to do this walkthrough since then. So literally, I've been planning to do, well, not the walkthrough per se, but I've been planning to play through it with the guide on my computer for that long. And then since around 2000, ever since I did Chrono Trigger, I've been thinking about doing this, but I never actually have gotten around to doing it yet. At first it was just, I didn't want to do it so close to right after. That's the same thing every time, isn't it? Okay, so I was wondering if it would change. Let's go ahead and hit the start button, so I don't have to deal with the thing kind of timing out. And then when I found out about Crimson Echoes, I figured, you know what, I'm gonna wait till after I do that one. Then we'll do Chrono Cross, and that's how we got to here. So, let's go ahead and get this started. So the main character's name is Surge. The other main character's name is Kid, and I won't do any spoilers on that. But well, I mean, technically, you probably, if you've played this game before or ever even heard about it, you should know the connections between the two games, this and Trigger. But I will not mention them. I'll let you figure it out for yourself. Alright, so the opening cutscene here. I've never seen that one before. I've probably started this game at least 13 or 14 times. Never actually gotten all the way to finishing it, obviously, but I've never seen this character as one of the first characters before. Irenaeus? I have no clue. I'm assuming that's an I, not an L. So Irenaeus, I guess. Interesting, kind of a German accent on the text. So this is actually kind of, I don't know if this is like a foreshadow or if it's just what, but it's not actually, the game doesn't actually start here, per se. I think it's actually a vision that Surge is having. So anyway, the battle system in this game is way, way different. Ah, come on. Oh wow, I think it's that, yeah, it's that character. I think, kind of slowing things down a bit. It's, well, maybe not. It might just be the way the camera's moving, because I'm looking at Surge isn't actually slowing down, and the camera smoothness isn't slowing down, it's just the movement of the camera around this place is kind of janky. So, well, actually it does, the camera is kind of, Surge isn't slowing down, the camera movement is, I'm not sure, anyway. So, the battle system's really weird in this game. It's not really anything like Chrono Trigger at all. So you have elements now. Every character has an innate element, which is like Chrono Trigger. But in order to use skills, you have to build up. What do they call them? See these like green things here underneath, and like the box where it says Surge right at the top right. Those are basically your, I guess, power levels or something, and you have to get to a certain power level to use certain skills. There are also summons in this game that are based on the elements, which you can only call when you have the battlefield elements all set to the same color. And you'll see what I mean later on when we actually get into a battle. So your Surge profile there. Kid, the secondary protagonist. And then Irenaeus. The ocean. Build mermaid, right-handed. I had never seen this character before. Okay, we actually have, interesting. So what's interesting about this... Okay, so how does... I was trying to figure out how you switch between those screens, because it doesn't... I guess it's the right and left on them. It just, like, doesn't... I don't know. The joystick... I don't know if it's, the plugin I'm using for the controller, or if it's just this controller, but the control sticks aren't very responsive. So elements, so you have to allocate elements to your characters to use. They take up basically like item slots. So you have, so you can see element level 1 over there. So if we go remove all, yes. So each level has an element slot, and there's some slots that are filled because those are basically the character's abilities. So like the one on level, the one slot at the bottom of level 3 that has that still filled in, that's one of Surge's abilities. Items are also elements, so in order to use them, you have to set them. This is one of those kind of games where you have to set the items you want to use in battle, or else you can't use them, which is kind of annoying. So we're going to set the tablets back there. Depending on where you put these, they get more powerful. Like for example, or rather I should say, the level of the thing determines where you can put it. But if you have an element that is the same as the character's element, so like these light elements, I think they're either light. I don't think they're electricity. I think those are the lightning are these. This might be holy, or it could be ice. I'm not sure which. Or maybe it's you know, colorless or non-elemental or something. So they all have elements, element levels, and whatever level it is, that's where it has to go to. Now the plus minus, I think that tells you how far up you can put them. So like this, you can put anywhere from level 2 to level 6. I guess what that means, yeah. But you can't go below 2. Oh, never mind, you can. But okay, yeah, that's right. I'm learning this whole process all over again. So, when you put an element in a level that's below its, you know, lowest, it's, you know, the level it actually is. So like if we put this in a level 1 slot, it basically will get its power reduced by 2 levels, so it becomes much weaker. Now if you put it in like the level 5, a level 5 slot, it becomes much more powerful. Okay, so I'm going to put this cure in a level 2 slot because that powers it up a bit. I don't think there's another level 1, so we're going to switch over to level 2 here. Actually, there's a secure, but we moved it up to level 2, so we'll put ice lance here, and then we'll do media right there. So here you can see dash and slash. So you have to get up to that level 3 slot to be able to use this skill. And you build that up by attacking, and you'll see the attacking system is kind of interesting too. So this is level 3, I'll put another photon beam. We'll do a recover all there. Ah, come on. Sometimes this system can be a little bit janky. Alright, level 4. Meteor shower and electro bolt. And we'll put magma bomb here. And then back here we'll put the capsules. Actually, it has to be a level 3, doesn't it? Crap. Okay, recover all capsule, and then we'll put the recover all here. And we have a photon beam. I'll level it down a bit, I guess. So every character has these different things. Different elements that they can set. So it really, how you set that stuff up can really determine if you get screwed or not in this game. This game is very tactical. Unlike Chrono Trigger, where it's more strategic, this one's much more tactical, where you actually have to properly, like, you have to go and get your Ars Entity, then like figure out why and plan how to set up your elements so that you don't have your Ars Entity again. So right now we have a, I guess, I don't know, either a holy or a light innate. We have a fire innate kid, and then the water innate Aranus. You can also use elements from there. Customize. Okay, this is the set up all this stuff. Yeah, you can actually toggle whether or not you're running by default, which is awesome. You can also set up the controller differently too. Alright, so let's head into here. So, like in Chrono Trigger, I'm pretty sure Surge says nothing in the whole entire game. Alright, and you do have battles here that you can go fight. They're not that hard, though. In fact, you probably should fight them to get used to the battle system. So, let's see. I can downstairs. Okay. Pretty sure you just have a few. You really just have one way to go. So we'll jump onto this guy here, and we'll kind of I'll try and explain the battle system. Alright, so you have power levels or attack levels that you build as you attack. Then you can use elements as you gain levels. You can defend to block, or you can run away. So up there, the field effects. You see how there's those 3 rings? You have to get all 3 of those rings to have the same element in them, the same element color, to be able to call a summon. So it's really hard to do. And also, depending on what's up there and what slot it's in, different elements will be altered in terms of their strengths. So like the more white sections you have up there, the more powerful a white element will be when you use it, regardless of where it's at. So if you have all the field effects as white and you use a -2 white element, it might be about the same power as if you were using it where it was supposed to be used at, the proper level that's supposed to be used at. So, attacking happens in a very interesting way. You have a choice of 3 different attack options. The probability changes with them. So if you use 3 and it hits, I believe that fills 3 power sections. Yeah. If you do 2, that fills 2. So now he's at max, his max power level there. So I'm just going to do single attacks after that. So now I can use any of Surge's elements at this point. I'm just gonna have Kid hit it a few times. Then we'll have her defend. Ironess. Alright, so let's go use an element. So we can choose, so it'll choose the highest level that you have currently available to you. Or you can just right and left button tab through them as you need. So we're going to actually use Mega Bomb, since that's my level 5 element there. Uses up all his attack power, but it'll do much more damage than it normally would. Now you can see we have the 2 red field effects up there. So I'm going to go ahead and use Magma Burst, the one that's on Kid, on the Chobot. Since she's a fire innate, it should do more damage. Yeah, much more damage. And yes, that is an homage to Chrono Trigger there. That song, the victory song, it's the same victory song from Chrono Trigger. Obviously, it's been rewritten, but in terms of the actual instruments, they can actually use non-MIDI instruments on this. Alright, so healing after a battle is interesting. And also, there's no real leveling up in this game, too, really. Well, there is and there isn't. As you fight, you'll get bonuses to your stats, and you'll also gain levels. And then you can also do this healing here. So what you can do is you can use your remaining power and elements from the battle. So in other words, like for example, Ironess has a power level of 3. If she has a healing element in there somewhere, it'll use that element. Or if anybody has any healing consumables, or yeah, not using consumables. Or you can say to use consumables you have in stock. We're just going to say heal without, so we're going to have that one be used. No spoils found. And that's the battle system in a nutshell. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's kind of how it works. I'm not really sure there's anything to find here, to be honest. There might be. Okay, I think that goes to where we need to go. Actually, I think if we go there, it doesn't automatically end this section. Never mind, it doesn't. Those bats are actually enemies. If you stand around in an area for long enough, they'll start chasing you. Look, a dead end. That's something else I'll find in this game, is that the level design is actually pretty good. They tried to fill out a lot of the areas with places you can go, even if they're like dead ends and things. Okay, we'll get into a fight with this guy. Mainly because I don't see a way around him without doing so. And because I want to do this more of the battle system. Alright, so you don't keep your level power levels through the battle. At the bottom you see that stamina thing. I believe that shows you so as that stamina bar drops, it limits what you can do when you're attacking. Eventually, what happens is if you watch that, so we do this, stamina drops by 3. Drops by 2, drops by 1. So when you reach 0 stamina, your turn is over, basically. So the higher your stamina is, the more attacks you get. And the stamina will replenish a set amount every turn. So as you can see, Surge is fully healed now. That's not always the case. It depends on stats, your character stats, how fast that will refill. Sometimes, for some characters, it doesn't refill right away, like that. So here we are. We're back to Ironess again, and she hasn't had her stamina fully regenerated, so she couldn't do her full range of attacks. All right, let's go ahead and do another element. Let's go ahead and use Photon Beam. So just really quick going here. Yeah, there are no. That's right. I was right. There are no levels. I was trying to remember if there were or not. So it's just, as you're battling. I don't even think there's experience, to be honest with you. No, there's no experience either. Not that you can see. I'm sure there is an experience value somewhere hidden in the background in the coding, but you don't see the value of it. But once you trip that, however it gets tripped, you'll gain stats, basically. Bonuses to your stats. Increases to your stats. You see stamina recovery 10, 12, 11. Alright, so let's come down here. Nope. Nothing happens if we try to do that again. So now we should be able to go to that one area in the center. Yeah. And finish this area here. Ah! Thought it was higher than that. Okay. So we got our alphabets here. So as you can see, enemies can attack in the middle of your turn based on, I think, their speed. So that's the other thing. If you're planning to like heal somebody during your character's turn, you may not be able to do it because those characters might get attacked right in the middle of it before you build up enough power to use the element. And yeah, so it's like I said, this game is much harder. It's much more tactical than strategic. When was the last time I played this game? Outside of trying to do, I think the last time I actually played it was 2013. Quite a while ago. Yeah, and there's another reference to Chrono Trigger. The whole Chrono, good morning, Chrono. Yet another reference. All it's missing is a cat running away. And you can even close them and open them. Like I think you could in the original and Chrono Trigger. At least I think maybe in the PSX version, not the SNES version. I don't believe there's... Nope, I was wrong. There is an item. Okay. So, believe it or not, we're still on... We're just barely on the second paragraph of the first page. All that. So... If you search the bed, there's also 200G in there.